You've got to understand something. Laziness isn't just a habit, it's an enemy, it's an assassin. It's quietly killing your dreams while you're telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. And the crazy part is, you already know it. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know the work that's waiting for you. You know the goals you wrote down, the promises you made to yourself, the life you keep imagining. But every time it's time to move, time to act, time to get up, you hesitate. You delay, you tell yourself you're tired, you're overwhelmed, you're not in the mood. And that's exactly how laziness wins, one excuse at a time. But hear me, you were not built to live beneath your potential. You were not designed to wake up every day and fight the same battles with the same excuses. You were built for more than that. The problem isn't that you're weak. The problem is that you keep giving your feelings power they don't deserve. You wake up and your body says, I'm tired, and you believe it. Your mind says, we can do it later, and you agree. Your comfort whispers, stay right here, and you obey. You're letting temporary emotions control a permanent destiny. Laziness isn't a physical problem, it's a decision problem. It's a priority problem. It's you choosing comfort over progress, choosing the couch over the grind, choosing distractions over discipline. And as long as you keep choosing laziness, your future can't choose you. Opportunities don't come to people who wait. They come to people who move. They come to people who act even when the feeling isn't there. They come to people who wake up and say, I don't care how my body feels. I'm showing up. You've got to declare war on that lazy part of you. You've got to be willing to make yourself uncomfortable. You've got to stop negotiating with the version of you that keeps talking you out of greatness. You can't keep hitting snooze on your life. You can't keep wasting time, scrolling, procrastinating, telling yourself stories. You know what needs to happen. Now you've got to be the one who makes it happen. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to wake you up. Nobody's coming to drag you to your goals. That responsibility is on you, and let me tell you why that should fire you up, because it means the power is in your hands. The moment you decide, I'm done being lazy, everything changes. The moment you stop feeling sorry for yourself and start holding yourself accountable, everything shifts. The moment you stop letting comfort besit your potential, you become unstoppable. Because once you prove to yourself that you can move without motivation, without excitement, without being pushed, then nothing in this world can stop you. Laziness can't hold you when discipline becomes your identity. Your future is waiting on you, but it won't wait forever. You've got one life, one shot, one opportunity to bring out the best version of yourself. Stop letting laziness steal it. Stop handing your destiny away. Stand up, move, decide. Because the moment you kill your laziness, you finally start living your purpose. You've got to understand something. Laziness doesn't always show up loud. Sometimes it shows up quiet. It whispers. It disguises itself as I'll do it later. I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I deserve a break. And if you're not awake, if you're not intentional, you'll start believing those whispers. You'll start treating those excuses like facts. And before you know it, they become your routine. They become your standard. They become who you are. Not because you wanted to be that person, but because you didn't recognize the voice that was holding you back. Discipline is the only language laziness understands. You can't negotiate with it. You can't reason with it. You can't sit it down and talk it out. Laziness only responds to force, consistent, deliberate, daily force. Discipline is waking up when your body says sleep. Discipline is studying when your mind says scroll. Discipline is working on your craft when your feelings say you don't have the energy. Discipline is showing up even when nothing in your life is giving you a reason to. You've got to start building habits that don't depend on your mood. Too many people are living life like their feelings are the boss. You feel tired, day wasted. You feel unmotivated, goal delayed. You feel overwhelmed, dream abandoned. The problem isn't that you don't have talent. The problem isn't that you don't have opportunity. The problem is you gave your feelings the keys to your future. And feelings were never meant to drive. They were meant to sit in the back seat while your purpose, your vision, your commitment sits up front. When you create disciplined habits, you start teaching your body and your mind who's in charge. You start setting a rhythm. You start creating momentum, and momentum is powerful. Momentum gives you confidence. Momentum makes you hungry. Momentum makes you dangerous because once you get moving, you start seeing what you're capable of, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Laziness can't survive in a body that's in motion. It can't live in a mind that's locked in. And listen, discipline doesn't mean perfection. Discipline doesn't mean you're never tired, never stressed, never tempted to stop. Discipline simply means you don't let any of that decide your future. You can feel tired and still move. You can feel overwhelmed and still act. You can feel discouraged and still push. That's what separates the ones who win from the ones who wish, the ones who rise from the ones who rest. The ones who become the example from the ones who admire the example. Every single day you've got to decide, am I operating out of discipline or out of emotion? Because that one decision determines your entire life. It determines your health, your money, your relationships, your legacy. Laziness will destroy all of it quietly. Discipline will build all of it brick by brick. And when those bricks stack high enough, people won't just see what you've built, they'll feel who you had to become to build it. And that's when you'll know the death of laziness was the birth of your greatness. Laziness doesn't show up because you're weak. Laziness shows up because you've been trained sometimes your whole life to move only when you feel like it. And that's the problem, because if your feelings are the driver, you're going to stay stuck. Feelings are inconsistent. Feelings are unreliable. Feelings are cowardly. They run the moment the work gets uncomfortable. And that's why you need to stop letting desire run your life and start letting discipline take the wheel. Desire is easy. Desire feels good. Desire is the dream you talk about at night, the fantasy you brag about, the thing you tell people you want or wish for. Desire sounds impressive, but it does nothing. Desire is lazy's best friend because desire doesn't demand anything from you. It just sits there and lets you imagine a version of yourself you're not willing to become. Discipline, though. Discipline is a monster. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, if you're bored, if you don't feel motivated. Discipline is the part of you that shows up anyway. Discipline is what builds warriors, champions, legends. Discipline is the thing you rely on when desire disappears, which it always does. Every great person you admire didn't get there because they felt like working. They got there because they trained themselves to push past their feelings. They stopped asking, do I want to, and replaced it with, does it need to be done? And every time discipline answered yes and they obeyed. You want to kill your laziness. Stop feeding it with excuses. Stop negotiating with yourself. Stop lying to yourself by saying, I'll do it later, or I'll start tomorrow, or I'm waiting for the right moment. Laziness lives inside those lies. And every day you obey your feelings, you make laziness stronger. But every day you obey discipline, you take your power back. Laziness dies the moment you stop needing to feel good to do the work. It dies the moment you act without emotion. It dies the moment you decide, I don't need to want it. I just need to do it. That's when the shift happens. That's when you stop being a victim of your own mind. That's when you stop being a talker and start being a finisher. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is confidence. Discipline is self-respect. When you keep the promise you make to yourself, even when it's hard, You start believing in your own voice again. You start trusting your decisions again. You start becoming the version of you that doesn't buckle under pressure. And that version of you is unstoppable, so stop waiting for desire. Desire is temporary. Discipline builds legacies. Because when discipline becomes your foundation, laziness never stands a chance. You've got to understand something. Your environment is either feeding your greatness or feeding your laziness. And most people don't even realize that the biggest enemy to their discipline is sitting right in their living room or in their pocket. You say you want to be successful, you say you're hungry, but every day you surround yourself with people, places, and habits that make you comfortable. And comfort is the cradle where laziness grows. You can't expect to be a beast and hang around sheep. You can't expect to be disciplined when you're surrounded by distractions. You can't say you want to rise while staying in the same environment that keeps you low. Every day you walk into rooms that drain your energy instead of fueling your purpose. You check your phone before you check your goals. You give more attention to entertainment than you do to your dreams. You let people who don't want anything out of life convince you to want less. And you don't even see how your environment is shaping your habits while your habits shape your results. You want to change your life, then you gotta change your environment. You need to put yourself in spaces where excellence is the standard, not the exception. At some point, you have to make a decision about what you allow near you. You have to be willing to cut people off, not because you don't love them, but because you love your future more. Some of you can't kill laziness because you keep feeding it with the wrong company. You keep listening to the wrong voices. You keep going to places that don't challenge you, entertain you, or grow you. You keep saying yes to comfort, and every yes to comfort is a no to growth. You need an environment that forces you to stretch. You need to surround yourself with people who wake up with fire. People who refuse excuses. People who hold you accountable. People who remind you every day that greatness is possible. But not if you're lazy, not if you're distracted, not if you're playing small. You gotta put yourself in rooms where your goals don't sound crazy. Rooms where hard work is normal. Rooms where you are pushed, not pampered. Your environment should make laziness uncomfortable. It should suffocate every excuse you try to make. It should remind you of who you said you wanted to become. And if your environment doesn't do that, then you need to have the courage to walk away and build a new one. Your future is too important. Your purpose is too big. And your time is too short to stay in spaces that shrink you. At the end of the day, killing laziness isn't just about waking up early or grinding harder. It's about creating an environment where laziness can't survive. Because when you change the environment, you change the behavior. And when you change the behavior, you change the outcome. And when you change the outcome, you change your life. That's the real shift.